The Purple Bucket Foundation, raising awareness and providing support for complex regional pain syndrome. Carers and sufferers is who we are and what we're about. Hello there, my name is Fred and I have had CRPS now for 11 to 12 years. Mine was caused by a crush injury and then surgery. We're not exactly sure. But I personally speak to many patients each day through support groups online, and I've done so for many years now. And I am truly heartbroken each time a newly diagnosed member joins us, for they are so confused and full of questions that their doctor should be answering. Now, complex regional pain syndrome, or CRPS, has a few other nicknames. One being the suicide disease. Now, many of us have questioned the idea of suicide, and quite a few have unfortunately followed through. Now, it's not just the pain that drives us to have these thoughts. There are so many other symptoms that come with CRPS, and the majority of these are not told to us when we are finally diagnosed. These also do not come on all at once, and so we never know when or if we're going to get any of the extra symptoms, though most of us do. It can take years before we finally get diagnosed, and we often go from doctor to doctor trying to find out what is wrong with us, and more often than not these doctors tell us it's all in our head, or we are fakers and drug seekers. Now this hurts us quite a bit and sets us back emotionally. We begin to lose faith in those who can help us most. The reason this happens is because most doctors have never heard of it, or frankly do not believe in it. I have found that many people today research their own symptoms and can come up with an explanation of CRPS long before their own doctors do. Myself, when I was finally diagnosed, I'm just told it's a rare chronic pain disorder with no official treatment and no cure. What I didn't get told is all the other symptoms that come with it. Things like spreading, swelling, discoloration, hair changes, finger and toenails become curved and brittle, teeth become brittle and easily damaged, our emotions become haywire, and we can even get extra blood flow to our organs, which causes them to swell, giving sharp stabbing pains, internal infections, digestion problems, erratic heart rate, and more. We go through stages of severe vomiting, lack of appetite, lack of sleep and depression. Even without the CRPS spreading, it soon becomes a full body issue. We can't exercise. We can't go out in the weather, as the CRPS affected area can become so sensitive a slight breeze will eventually hurt. We get full body sweats that feel like we're going to spontaneously combust. We can also get so cold that we can tear muscles from shaking. And really the list goes on. I've also found many patients downplay their own symptoms and deny much of their high-end pain to their doctor. Just so it doesn't look like all they want is pills. But the thing I've found with taking medication for true chronic pain is you don't get addicted to them. Many have become dependent on them, but many also stop high doses cold turkey because they just don't do anything. When I was finally diagnosed with CRPS, I was offered one treatment and one treatment only. That was to have a tap put in my spinal cord, and I self-inject morphine daily. I tried the double-blind test, but I could not bring myself to go through with it, and was then refused any other treatment. I felt abandoned, lost, and confused. I always thought our medical system would put in much more effort to help those who are truly suffering. I have found a really great GP though, and after dealing with the pain for a few years, I finally agreed with my GP to start taking medications. But since then, it's just been trial and error, just like everyone else goes through with CRPS. you don't know what's going to work and what's going to affect you adversely. Many of us spend our days in bed or on the couch. The brain fog and chronic fatigue often keep us alone. The sensitivity and fear of being hurt more often keep us in an invisible bubble. One of the worst things I went through was being afraid of my own children, being afraid to sit next to them on the couch or to hug them, being afraid they're going to hurt me. We also live in constant fear that every new pain is the CRPS spreading. Many of us quickly lose all of our friends and can even become separated from family, all because they don't understand and don't believe us. To help remedy this, our doctors need to know and understand more about CRPS. Awareness is the key. If it's explained to the patient properly in the first place, they can then explain it to friends and family properly, which will hopefully bring understanding. If you are to tell your friends or family that you have cancer, they will be sympathetic, understanding, and won't forget. You tell them you have CRPS, and you need to explain it to them and remind them every time you see them or talk to them for years to come. It just doesn't sink in. And we often don't like to tell friends the extent of our pain or our condition either. We don't want it to define us or be the center of attention. We know that others just can't understand what it takes to deal with chronic pain, as it's not something that's imaginable. We do understand this. But without proper treatment or a cure, we are left to live out the rest of our lives like this. Now, take a moment to consider the children who have CRPS and what kind of a long, miserable life they have to look forward to. I would not wish this disorder upon anyone. It is the most painful disorder known to man, and we desperately need more research to find a cure. Thank you very much, all. The Purple Bucket Foundation, raising awareness and providing support for complex regional pain syndrome. Carers and sufferers is who we are and what we're about.